Our Muslim friends tell us they hold to a doctrine known as Tawhid, or the absolute oneness of Allah. Put differently, this would be the idea of Unitarianism. But what happens whenever we actually examine the Muslim sources for ourselves? Do we actually come to the understanding that there is one eternal being within Islam? Not at all. So we need to first look at the Islamic position with regards to the Quran. They hold that the Quran is the uncreated speech of Allah. In chapter 85, verse 21 and 22, it says, "No, but it is a glorious Quran on a preserved tablet." The problem with that is that in the Islamic sources, the Quran shows up as a person. In Sunan Abu Majah 3781, it was narrated from Ibn Buddha that his father was told that the messenger of Allah said, "The Quran will come on the day of resurrection like a pale man and will say, 'I am the one who kept you awake at night and made you thirsty during the day.'" So here the Quran takes on the physical form of a pale man. Let's now look at Sahih Muslim 805. And Narwa bin Salman said he heard the apostles say, "On the day of resurrection, the Quran and those who acted according to it will be brought with Surah Al-Baqarah and Al-Imran preceding them. The Messenger of Allah likened them to three things, which I did not forget afterwards. He, the Holy Prophet, likened them to two clouds or two black canopies with light between them, or like two flocks of birds in rank pleading for one who recited them." So here the Quran shows up as flocks of birds, and it testifies that the Muslim recited the chapters of the Quran. But the problem with that is, if they're showing up as flocks of birds, and they can recall if the Muslim recited the Quran perfectly or not, then it shows that the Quran has the qualities of personhood, because it can think, it can reason, it can it can report back to Allah. And so what do we have here? We have the Quran says that it is the uncreated speech of Allah, but yet it shows up as a pale man, and it also shows up as flocks of birds. So with regards to the flocks of birds, that the Quran has 114 chapters. So within the pale man, which is the one Quran, there is 114 personalities within the one Quran. And the Muslims claim that the Trinity is illogical, and yet you have the one Quran with 114 personalities. I want to also now move on to the Spirit of Allah. In chapter 19, verse 16 through 21, it says, "Make mention of Mary in the book, when she had withdrawn from her people to a chamber looking east and had chosen seclusion from them. Then we sent our spirit to her, and it assumed for her the likeness of a perfect man." Did you notice what it said? It said that we sent our spirit to her. This once again says Allah breathes out the spirit, and it goes forth. So anything that comes, from Allah is eternal. So the spirit is eternal. But notice it also said that it took the form of a perfect man. She said, "Indeed, I seek refuge in Al-Rahman from you." So she's seeking refuge in Allah from this man that she didn't realize was the Spirit of Allah. It says, "If you fear Allah," he said, "I am only a messenger of your Lord, so that I may bestow on you a holy son." She said, "How can I have a son with no mortal man has touched me, nor have I been unchaste?" He said, "So it will be, your Lord says, it is easy for me, and so that we may make him a sign for mankind and a mercy from us, and it is a thing that is ordained." Did you notice what happens? The Spirit communicates with Mary. So the Spirit has the qualities of a person. And it also said, once again, if we look, it said that the Spirit was sent from Allah. And as I said before, that the Spirit, if it's sent from Allah, it comes forth from Allah. So anything that comes forth from Allah is eternal. I want to bolster this point with looking at chapter 66, verse 12. It says, "And Mary, the daughter of Imran, whose body was chaste, therefore we breathed into it something of our spirit." Oh, and here, so he says, Allah said he breathed something, his spirit into Mary. So once again, if the spirit is breathed out from Allah, then the spirit is eternal. Now, our Muslim friends will of course say, this is only the angel Gabriel, the spirit's the angel Gabriel. Well, that's not actually the case according to your Quran. It says in chapter 70, verse 4, the angels and the Spirit ascend to him in a day of which the span is 50,000 years. Furthermore, it says in chapter 78, verse 38, on the day when the angels and the Spirit stand arrayed, they do not speak of except for him whom Arim Ram allows and who speaks rightly. Did you notice what it said? In 78:38, it says, on the day when the angels and the Spirit stand arrayed. So the angels and the Spirit stand arrayed. So here we can see clearly, of course, that the angels and the Spirit are in separate categories. So the Muslims cannot claim that the Spirit is the angel Gabriel. And I want to prove this to be the case with regards to another chapter of the Quran in chapter 17, verse 85, which would have been a perfect time for Allah, through the Prophet Muhammad, to say that the Spirit is Gabriel, but that does not happen. But what do we have? It says in 1785, they are asking you about the Spirit. Say the Spirit is by command of my Lord, and knowledge you have been given is only little. So here would have been a perfect time for Muhammad to say that the Spirit is the angel Gabriel, and we don't find that here. So what do we have here? We have the fact that Allah blew a perfect opportunity to clearly explain that the Spirit is Gabriel, but he does not do that. So to recap, what do we have with regards to the doctrine of Tawhid? We know that it's not true because we have three eternal persons in Islam. We have Allah, the Quran, and the Spirit of Allah with distinct personalities. Therefore, Islam does not teach absolute monotheism, and the doctrine of Tawhid is false.